Alrighty guys, what's going on? Welcome back to a brand new video. So today, the big news of today is actually that Benedict Cumberbatch will join Spider-Man 3 as Doctor Strange. So with this news breaking, it goes on, this is the Hollywood Reporter, it goes on to say stuff like he's the new mentor role. I'm not a big fan of that, but it is what it is. I have a feeling that he's not going to be like as big of an influence on Spider-Man's life as uh, Tony Stark will be. I have a feeling that Nick Fury will kind of be his new mentor going forward, but not necessarily like in the same kind of way that Tony Stark was. But anyway, that's not what I really want to talk about today. The thing I want to talk about is there are now three possible theories that I have that uh, are a way that they could possibly reverse the effects of the ending of Far From Home and make it so that way Spider-Man's identity remains a secret in the MCU. So yeah, I just kind of want to talk about those for a little bit. This is going to be more of just a off the cuff discussion video, but yeah. So let's just talk about it. So the first theory I have, and the first theory that I think everybody had after Captain Marvel came out and the ending of Far From Home, where Maria Hill and Nick Fury were Skrulls the entire time, is in fact the Skrulls. So one of the things that they could do to solve that, the whole Peter Parker identity thing, is that they could just put a Skrull, get Talos or somebody, and just have him dress up as Spider-Man, or even better, like become Peter Parker, like shapeshift into Peter Parker, and then have Spider-Man in the same room, and then he can be like, "Hey, look, it's not me." So that's one theory that I have, and I think a lot of people have that theory. Now, do I think it'll happen? Not necessarily. That feels like a giant cop out, to be honest with you. Like that feels like why even have a third Spider-Man movie that could be solved in like 5 minutes? Like there's no real there's no real stakes if there's a movie that just kind of has that. And yeah, so I don't think they're gonna go with that route because it's just way too easy. But I mean, they could if Spider-Man 3 is really going to be this whole multiverse movie that everybody's talking about. Um, you know, I don't necessarily want to see like a Spider Verse like this early into this Spider-Man's career, as I said in my last video. But I mean, I'm not opposed to it. I just think it's a little too early, and I really want Spider-Man 3 to be. I want to see him tackle with the fact that his identity's out there. It doesn't necessarily have to stay out there, but I just think that this should be more Peter focused, and it's not looking that way. So I'm a little worried about it. But anyway, so yeah, the first theory is that they'll just use a scroll and just shapeshift into Peter Parker and have Spider-Man in the same room. That's the first theory that I think they could do. The second theory is that in the comics, when Spider Man's identity is revealed to the world, he actually goes to Doctor Strange, and basically Doctor Strange uses his magic and basically makes everybody forget that Peter Parker is Spider Man. With this, I think that honestly that would be much cooler in my opinion than just using a scroll, because you can actually see more of Doctor Strange. And yeah, I think that is like the second most likely option. I think the scroll option is actually the one that they're like the least likely going to do. But I think that the second one, where he uses his magic to make everybody forget, would be actually a really cool way. And I'm not opposed to like these team ups in movies. Like I really enjoyed like Doctor Strange and Thor Ragnarok. I thought that was really cool. And just I like seeing them team up outside of like Avengers movies, because they're all friends. Like why wouldn't they? That's like saying you see your friends when you go to school. Like like you see your friends outside of school too. So yeah, so that's the second theory, that Doctor Strange could use his magic to make everybody forget that Spider Man is Peter Parker. And then the third theory that ties into more of the whole Spider Verse thing is that what Peter Parker could do is, if they really have this whole Spider Verse going on, and if they get either Tom or Andrew, or sorry, Toby or Andrew back on board for this movie, which if it's the Spider Verse setup that I think it's going to be, I think it's kind of likely. But yeah, so if they get either Toby or Andrew back, then you could basically just have Spider Man be in the same room as Peter Parker, as Tom Holland's Peter Parker, and then he can be like, "See, there's Spider Man." It's kind of the same thing with like the scroll thing, but you actually have another Spider Man just from a different universe. The only thing I think that would be a little weird is that the suits wouldn't be the same because I don't think that necessarily like either Toby or Andrew could like really fit into the MCU Spider-Man suit. And yeah, I think that'll be weird. But I think that honestly, that's probably the most likely one. Um, especially if there's like a whole multiverse like break in the middle of like him being on the run, then he can be like, yeah, see, look, it's not me. That was another Spider-Man. And you just blame it on another Spider-Man. And then when Doctor Strange fixes the multiverse in his own movie, then, he could just be like, that Spider-Man's gone. He's not, he can essentially just blame another Spider-Man. And, it wouldn't have any repercussions on either Toby or Andrew's universe or Tom Holland's universe. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Those are the three theories that I think are kind of likely for how they could fix Spider-Man's identity problem. And yeah, so I'm actually kind of excited to see Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange in Spider-Man 3. But yeah, I'm not like I said, I'm not too big on the whole Spider Verse thing just yet. I'm 100% down with the Spider Verse. I just think it's a little too early, and this third Spider Man movie is just like way too big of a big plot point for Tom's Spider Man for this really to be a big multiversal thing. But with that being said, let me know what your guys' thoughts are on Doctor Strange being in Spider Man 3 are and your theories about how they could solve Peter Parker's identity. Leave them down in the comments below. And yeah, that's going to do it for this episode. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.